for joining us today. My name is Vanessa, and I'm just really happy that we could all come together. It's been a couple of months, I think, since we last did a happy hour. So hopefully all of you have your drinks ready, maybe. This is all I could pull off at the last minute. Right. And there's like no ice, but this is straight vodka and ginger ale. So this should get interesting as we get into it.
Me too.
Yeah, you too.
Vodka. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Natasha. Okay, so today's discussion is going to be life and love during lockdown. So we're scheduled for 90 minutes total, and we're going to be reserving the last 15 minutes of our chat for some Q&A from the chat room. We have some moderators that will be fielding questions in the meantime. So if you do have any questions, then feel free to post them in the chat, and we may just take questions as we go as well. So let's get into it. Lockdown, no contact, social distancing. How are you all managing to keep life in balance during this global pandemic? We've seen more people than ever gravitating toward online platforms and turning to sex workers and adult performers for a sense of human connection and personal pleasure and fulfillment. So as the people on the other side of that equation, I was curious to know what the experience has been like for all of you as performers, but also how you're dealing with everything behind the scenes too on a more personal level. So joining me today to discuss this topic are our panelists. We have Tommie Baby, Aubrey Diamond, Brielle Valentine, Chrissy LeBlanc, Rina Ellis, Bella Vendetta, Autumn's Asian Desire, and Natasha Nice. Thank you all for being here. So let's kick things off with some introductions. One by one, please tell us who you are and how long you've been in the industry for. Aubrey Diamond, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. I think I've been in the industry for 5 years now, which is so insane. Does not feel like it's been that long, but I absolutely love this. So I plan on doing it for much longer.
Awesome. Rina, how about you?
I have been in the industry since 2016. So, oh my God, we're 2021. So yeah, also 4 years. I'm bad at math. But yeah, I'm kind of like off and on, but I'm still very much consider myself a performer. So yeah, I can't believe it's been that long either. I thought I was gonna it feels like 2, but yeah.
It flies by very quickly.
Yes, it does.
Tommie, what about you?
I've been doing it since 2019. I'm Tommie. Hi. I've been doing it since 2019, and it honestly doesn't feel that long. I don't mean to be a parrot, but it does not feel like it's been that long in retrospect. But yeah, that's me.
Autumn, you want to go? Can you hear us? Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm sorry. I thought I heard my name. I wasn't sure. Hi, guys. I'm Autumn from Autumn's Asian Desire. I've been doing this since April of 2014. So I guess I'm reaching my 7 years. Yeah, time flies so fast. Like, I don't even know what day of the week it is. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy what I do. And I literally, as I started this back in 2014, I was like all in. So this is what I'm going to be doing. And I like what I do for a living. So yeah.
Nice. Chrissy?
Hi, I am Chrissy LeBlanc, and I've been in the industry for about 7 years, doing cam, premium Snapchat, clips, all sorts of stuff. So.
What about you, Bree?
Hi guys, I'm Brielle. I've been in the sex work industry since about 2008. I started around like 18 or 19, and I've been camming for about 3 or 4 years now on a serious level. So I've dabbled in everything, brothels and strip clubs and everything. So here I am.
Thank you. Bella?
Hi, everyone. I'm Bella Vendetta. I've been in the industry, I think this year is going to be 19 years, if you can believe that. And 14 of those on cam and about 11 of those with Streamate. So I've also done a lot of various types of sex work, but I'm finding like my love for cam has kind of been a constant. So I'm here, in it to win it.
And last but not least, Natasha.
Hey everyone, I'm Natasha. I've been in porn since 2006 and I started camming in 2011 and doing my own content just the past 2 or 3 years. So I've kind of gone all over the place.
Nice. All right. So let's move into kind of what things are looking like wherever you happen to be. I know in Seattle, where Streamate is headquartered, we're just coming off of like pretty tight restrictions, and for a while there though we were under a pretty strict lockdown phase. So what are things looking like in your specific area? Are things still pretty restricted, or are you able to move about pretty freely at this point?
I mean,
If anyone
personally,
wants-
I live in Florida, so nobody cares about anything here. You can go do anything you want in Florida, which is kind of scary, but like when you go to Disney, they are so strict. If you even take your mask off for a second to just, I mean, anything, they're like, put it on, and it's a little strict. It's a little scary, but you can just go do anything right now. So no lockdown here really.
I'm in Las Vegas and it's pretty similar just because Las Vegas is like very much a tourist travel destination. But all of the locals that are here, all of the local sex workers, we're all used to being very safe and testing all the time. So I'd say all the locals are just staying away from the strip, staying away from the tourist areas. So we still have people that are coming in and affecting like our COVID numbers, but the locals are treating it a lot differently than people visiting are.
Okay. I'm in New York, and in the beginning, it was really, really bad here. It was really bad. But now things are kind of slowly getting back. But at the same time, they like just banned. They just like cut off indoor dining again. So we got it back, but then the numbers went back up, and then now they got rid of it. But now I heard, I don't know if it's true, that they're gonna like reopen on Valentine's Day with 25% capacity. I don't know if that's going to happen, but for the most part, like where I am, it's pretty, like people are pretty careful. It's pretty dead where I am, but I know probably like, you know, when you're like closer to the city, like it's probably not the case. So yeah, but I've been laying pretty low for the most part.
Are you guys all? Oh, sorry.
And actually, when the pandemic started, I honestly couldn't tell a difference in my day to day because I'm such a homebody.
Oh my God, I was just gonna say that. Yes.
Me
then
too.
I came,
Yeah.
so my money comes to me, and then there's Uber Eats, so my food comes to me. So honestly, I could not tell you what's going on in the world at all. I don't have cable. I just have Hulu, Netflix, Prime TV, so with Prime Videos. I honestly am the worst person to ask when it comes to this. It's embarrassing. Like it's kind of
That's real though. You have like a bubble. You had a bubble already built in.
Right. Like I'm very insulated from all of it, and everything is just very convenient right now. And then when the pandemic started, there was, you know, Netflix went into hyperdrive with all their video suggestions. So I was just on cloud nine. I was like, I mean, the pandemic aside and all the things that come with it, it was just the best time to be a homebody, honestly.
I discovered I was a homebody like this pandemic. It really did. Like for me, I was home anyway because the pandemic like started when my baby was still like 4 months old. So like I was home with her a lot anyway, but the longer it went on and then lockdown happened, the more I like realized I really, really like being at home. And I'm a little worried about things going back to normal because I don't know how I'm going to deal with being back out there again. But yeah.
I guess I'm from South Carolina. I just moved here. Literally moved from California to South Carolina right when the pandemic started. So everything was kind of like up in the air, but I was already a homebody, and for me, it doesn't really bother me with this whole pandemic thing going because I have my bubble. I literally, my entire house is like a grocery store. I have like a pantry, refrigerators, freezers. I'm stocked up for like apocalypse stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, it doesn't faze me. I'm kind of a germaphobe anyway, so I kind of figured people were, that kind of, I guess, their cleanliness weren't up to par. So I'm kind of like staying in my bubble. I hate leaving the house. Only like Costco and the food store. So yeah.
That's how I was. I'm in Vegas too. And like when the lockdown happened, I was kind of just like already seriously like into cam, and I use like Instacart, and like I have like, if I don't use Instacart, like I have like a chef who meal preps for me or like different things. So it was like everything can come to you now. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you really don't even have to leave. But like the pandemic happening, it was like, wow, now everybody's like washing their hands and like sanitizing things they were supposed to do already. So it was like, I'm not like a huge like OCD germaphobe, but I am like a real clean person. So I'm like, wow, it took all this for people to go get hand sanitizer. Like, wow, like, but I was already like stocked up and ready, like even before, because our job, like we mostly stay home, we film content, whatever. I'll go out for like collabs and stuff with friends, but usually I just stay home with my animals. That's it.
So when you talked about collabs just now, Brie, like, are you guys kind of venturing out like however many, like almost a year into COVID? Like, have any of you attempted to reach out and collaborate with other performers at this point? Like on a physical level?
I've been collabing since it started, but we get like the COVID testing and we go to talent test. I just did like a collab on Saturday with like maybe 30 girls. It was just like a big content party with Trey songs, and everyone had to get tested, and your temperatures were checked in the door, and then, like obviously talent tests and things like that. So it's always like, if you don't have those tests, then don't do it. Cause I had a collab like maybe in December, and one girl's like, oh, I can't get COVID tests. We're like, okay, well, it's best you stay home, because it's like, yeah, if you don't really know anyone who's had it, you probably are just like, don't take it serious. But I've known people that have like died from it. So I'm always like, better safe than sorry. Like I have a 5-year-old nephew, and I have like my grandmother's 76. So I'm always like, girl, if you're not getting the COVID Rona test, I'm not coming. Yeah. So I take it seriously. I don't know about other people, but definitely me and my group of friends that, collab with content or anything like that, we're definitely like getting tested.
I've been collaborating throughout this year as well. Sorry.
My bad.
I've been collaborating with people throughout this year as well, but it's definitely different than it was before. I feel like beforehand, a lot of people would go and get their talent testing done and then try to stack up as many shoots as they could to maximize their testing. And it's changed a bit now, or now I'm like spreading it out more. Like I will go get tested, talent tested and COVID tested, and I'll work with someone, and then I'll like wait another like 2 weeks to work with someone else. So I'm spreading it out a lot more, trying to like sell custom videos and stuff to help pay for testing and cover that cost instead of stacking it up with people. And the vetting process, I know, has gotten more in depth too, with people I've talked to as well. Like, it's not just, hey, are you available, but also checking social media and like making sure that people aren't, the people that you're going to meet up with aren't like going out on Fremont Street and going out to bars and drinking. And, I'm definitely being I'm being a lot more selective with who I'm collaborating with and how seriously they're taking it as well. So.
Yeah, I used to do collabs before COVID, but I don't play those games now. There was one person in particular that I would get on cam with, and she has the same sentiments about it as I do. Like, I for one, I have a daughter that has arthritis, a juvenile arthritis. So she takes immunosuppressants, which lowers her hyperactive immune system. So the last thing I want to do is bring COVID to her where her immune system is already as low as it can be for her. And I don't take the risk. I don't really interact with people already, but now it's on a whole nother level. I don't do it.
Yeah, I used to have a studio that I shot in regularly, and that models would come and pay me to shoot them in, and a whole setup. But I actually shut it down at the beginning of COVID because I also have RA and I'm immunocompromised and have really severe allergies anyway. I already had a lot of health concerns before and was really careful. And I also came into this with more medical training than a lot of people had, and with an entire autoclave and decontamination setup in my studio, but I still shut it down because it's not worth the risk to me. And I understand infection rates and that a lot of these tests are false negatives, and it's still a huge risk, even with testing, to me, that I just don't take it. So I've just been being inventive, and I invested in a telephoto lens, and I've been shooting models from like 20 feet away, outside, through windows, in their cars, like whatever kind of thing that we can make work and still be safe. But for me, I'm not doing in-person collabs with other sex workers, and as much as I really want to, and I can't wait to have it be safe again, I'm just taking a hiatus from it, which is kind of why I just doubled down on camming. At the time I was earning a lot of money as a stripper too. So when my clubs all shut down, I just doubled down on camming.
I have a question about the testing, because as of like 2018, I'm just a strict like solo performer, so I haven't done any collabs at all. But is it like an every 2 week thing, like the rest of, like when you do the rest of your like STD testing? Do you have to do it every 2 weeks, or do you have to do it more frequently? Anyone who has been tested for COVID and at talent testing, I mean.
Well, I will say, do you want to go, Natasha?
Huh? Sorry, girl. I'm like,
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I will say, Bella, what you were saying about like the false negatives and stuff, I will chime in about that and answer your question, Rina. I've actually had models be like, oh, I got positive for COVID. Then they go to a different location and it's negative. Then they go to another one and they're negative. So it's like so confusing. So as far as last year, I probably did like 5 collabs last year, and I made sure that right before the collabs I would get COVID tested. Other than that, I just stayed in the house. So for me, because I have friends who collab like every week, and they get a test like the day before every collab. Like sometimes if they're doing like 3 collabs in a day, they might go like, on Monday for the shoot on Tuesday, but then like the people on Thursday require 2, so they're going to go again on Wednesday. So it can get really expensive. Yeah. But for me, I was just going like the day before or 2 days before, and then staying inside, and because I didn't shoot that frequently for the collabs last year. So, but I imagine anybody who's like, like the top earning girls on like content sites and stuff that shoot every week, I assume they probably go every week. If they're going to be safe, I mean, I would.
Yeah.
Because a lot can happen in 2 weeks, especially if you're out all the time.
It definitely depends on how active the other people are. Like I have a girlfriend that I cam with on a regular basis, but she's not in the industry otherwise. She only comes and cams with me, and she's not sleeping with anybody else. So we're fine with like doing talent testing like every 30 days or whatever, like just so we have our paperwork up to date. But I don't need her to go get it done on a regular basis because she's not work with anyone else. But she does have a retail job, so she goes and gets COVID tested like every week. So just depends on like the level of exposure, I'd say, with who you're working with.
Yeah, if you're shooting a porno movie, you're supposed to shoot like test like 1 or 2 days in advance. Like they need it to be a 1 or 2 day test. So if you're shooting like on Monday and you need to shoot again on Thursday, you have to go get tested at least on Saturday, and then again on Tuesday. So it's kind of like just nonstop shooting and then going to talent testing. Because any more than 3 days, with all the people you're going to be around on set, it's like the director, the photographer, the other performers, it just increases your chances so much more. So you kind of have to go like way more frequently. Yeah, but you get used to it.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, have you guys noticed that like have you had to make a lot of adjustments essentially as far as like the way that you run your business, and like has your schedule changed drastically, or have things have stayed pretty consistent over the course of this pandemic?
I mean, like a lot of people were saying in the beginning, I've always been a homebody. I was never a partier. I don't do anything. I'm a total hermit. So my life has not changed much. If anything, my life has become easier because now I like use that Shipped app. I get my groceries delivered. Like I don't have to go to the grocery store anymore, and my schedule hasn't changed. I mean, in the beginning of the pandemic, when everyone was getting their stimulus checks in and whatnot, I mean, that was a great couple weeks for me. My life was great camming. Those stimulus checks were awesome. But yeah, so still a homebody. Probably gonna always be a homebody.
Yeah, I just
go ahead, Bella.
I'm sorry, Chrissy. I just have to be really stringent on scheduling myself, or if I get off my schedule, it's hard for me to get the motivation to get back on it. So I try to really just schedule myself really far in advance so that I know what days I'm camming, what days I'm doing promotion, what days I'm filming, what days I'm uploading, and all that stuff. But then like this week, for instance, I didn't account for that I worked my body too hard, and then I was forced to take a day off because my hand and my arm hurt so much I couldn't even type on the computer. So try to be gentle with myself on those days and like just let it go. But that's kind of been the hard part for me, is trying to stay on a schedule and just self-motivate myself being at home.
It's been hard for me, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like really different now. I don't know why. Like I'm starting to like get it back, but for a little while I just like kind of didn't feel like good. Like I didn't feel motivated. I didn't feel like the stuff I was putting out there was, good. It just looked like shit in my opinion. And so I think that had everything to do with like how I was feeling. Maybe it's because I had a baby. I think things changed, but like now I'm kind of like getting back to like how it was before, and now I'm kind of like really excited about it, and I have a lot more motivation because I'm like I get to do, as we all said, like I love being at home. I discovered this, that I love it till now. The fact that I can do all of this from home, I'm like really happy about. So now I just need to make like a good schedule to like kind of balance everything out. But it's still hard, even being at home, at least for me. But
My daily and weekly schedule hasn't changed that much, but it's definitely become more important to like have a schedule that like helps keep me like regulated and knowing what's going on. This year's actually been a really good opportunity to like readdress my organization system and my workflow, and like go back through some old content that I've saved, and like, oh my gosh, I never dealt with this, never edited it, never posted it. So it's been an opportunity to like, find something to do with a little bit of that extra time. The biggest change has been just not having like events to go to anymore for, like OnlyFans content or Snapchat content, things like that. And like those opportunities to collaborate and network with other people like face to face. Things like XBiz and AVN, those events are always like a motivational jump starter for me. I love to go to those things, and like I always leave motivated and pumped and like ready to like get back to work. and they've had the virtual events this past year, but it's just not the same. So that's been the biggest change, is like not being able to have those to like split up my year and give me like more like fun content or just something different than me being at home to share with people.
Yeah, I'm the same as Aubrey there. I never leave the house. And if anything, I'm kind of like one of those old ladies that like to do arts and crafts around the house. So I keep myself busy with that. But yeah, other than that, nothing's changed. I'm just in a different state, and no one really cares about the whole COVID thing here. So I like to stick to my house bubble and keep myself busy cleaning and all that stuff. So yeah, my schedule is still the same.
I think I might be the only person that experienced this then. So when COVID started, I noticed a really large influx of new girls and also a large influx of, I guess, new guys, like new members coming in. And
I
it was
noticed
kind of
that, yeah.
crazy at
Mm.
first. Like I know some women, some cam girls, they thrived during that period, and I'm so happy for them. But it
Yeah.
was like really crazy for me. And my hustle is very, very subtle. I'm not the kind of person to dance all day and to just like sing to my music. And I'm really low key. And I think the guys were expecting other things, you know, the new guys. So it changed my schedule in the way that I picked 2 days that are my favorite days to camp, and I only camped those 2 days. And I just did other things throughout the week. And it's died down considerably. And now I just cam like I normally did. So that was the biggest change for me, is just everyone was home. So everyone was trying to figure out how to make money, and people were laid off, and people had their stimulus checks and stuff. So it was a big change for me.
Adding to what Tommie says, I did notice what the bigger names prior to COVID, they were not there as much. And I was like, whoa, where did everybody go? And then it was just a lot of new girls. So I'm like, oh, great. Now the hustle is going to be even more real. Like you have to really get in there and just put in the hours, and you just got to put in the time. But I did notice that. I'm like, where did all the big names go? Now it's the new names. So it's just like, oh man, you got fresh meat. You've been there for how long? You just literally, the hustle is just, I thought, a little bit more competitive, I guess.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like the front page looked completely different. Like I had just stepped into a time capsule, and fast forwarded 7 years, I did not recognize almost anyone. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to let this moment in time pass and then get back into it when I guess this whole moment just dies down a little bit. And it did, it's died down.
Which I've noticed that too, with like the change in the hustle, like a lot, because there's so many new people that are like coming into the industry. I've like my content used to like kind of speak for itself a bit more, and people would reach out to me a little bit more. And now there's people coming in that are like on their sales and marketing game and hustle, and like they're more salesmen, and instead of like, they might not necessarily have the experience or the content, but they're really good at selling themselves. I'm like, crap, okay, so I have to get better at that part. And I can't just let my, you know, my content speak for itself anymore. Like I gotta get up on my hustle game too.
I think in the beginning for me with COVID, it was like, okay, everything's locked down. Like it'll be fine. This will end in like 3 months. We'll be okay. And then as time went on, like it was like, okay, you kind of, for me, like I expected like the new girls to pop up or the new models, because I'm like, okay, what are people going to do for money? They're going to try to do one of the things that they said they would never do, sex work. Like, oh, I'll never make an OnlyFans, or, oh, go to college and get your degree because sex work isn't stable. But now they're asking me how they can get into content or webcam. Oh, well, didn't you say you do webcam? Yeah, I got laid off of my job of 15 years. Do you think you can help me? So I kind of expected like the influx of like new models and new customers, because I'm like, everybody's home. Everybody's going to try some shit that they've never tried before, or that they were curious about or seen on Netflix or whatever. But like after a while, like it was good for me in the beginning, and then it goes back to the normal routine. And I had to like keep reminding myself, don't fall into like a seasonal depression, or like obviously like I put on weight because I'm eating and ordering food, because sometimes you can lose like, obviously you're losing track of time. It's just going by really fast. You're kind of not motivated because you're not interacting, whether it's just like with your neighbors or like, you know what I mean, going on walks as often anymore. So then you can kind of isolate yourself and like not be motivated. Like Chrissy said, like going to the events and stuff like motivates you after, because you're like, oh damn, like you just met so many different people and so many opportunities, and you know, you hear so many stories. So it kind of motivates you when you leave those kind of events. So to just be home, it's like you kind of have to keep a schedule. Like I went and got a whiteboard, I went and got a planner, and on my whiteboard I'd be like, don't be lazy, or like, because sometimes I would find myself like laying in bed, just laying there till like 3 p.m. I'm like, girl, like what are you doing? Like get up. Like even if you freaking get a coloring book and like do something, like be active, because like COVID like literally can just get you in that depression, and you don't even know you're like depressed or going through something, because you're just like, oh God, like I don't want to clean today, I don't want to take
It's
a
so
shower.
easy to let the days blend into each other. Like,
Yeah, like, oh, I won't take a shower today, oh, I won't clean, like, oh, I'll just, you know, and then it's like, oh, I've gained, before you know it, you're like, I've gained 20 pounds, like, because girl, I was just eating everything, like I was, oh, I'll just order this, like, and then I smoke weed too, so that didn't help at all.
Yeah, you really have to like force yourself to like make each day count and like do something with each day, whether it's like work or self-care. Like I did the same as you, Brielle, where I put like all these Post-its all around my bathroom mirror. Like
that's what I do too. I have my Post-it notes.
You're really good at your job, just to like remind myself to like keep living and not just like wind down, you know?
Yeah, because when you go through a time where like, okay, everybody gets like their stimulus check or they use their savings, and these guys or girls are online and they're paying you. And then you go through your times, obviously our job isn't stable. So you'll have those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I had a bad day, like, or a couple of days. You might make 1,000 in one day and then not make the amount of money you wanted for the next 3 days and get really down on yourself. But you have to remember, like, you know, obviously those times aren't going to last forever, but it can really get you down when it's like, oh my gosh, like I just got dressed and got cute for cam and like I didn't make the money that I wanted to, like, oh my gosh, you know, and then you start like beating yourself down, and like, and you have to remember, like I always try to remember, like, yeah, I didn't do good today, but you know what, that's okay. I'm just going to sign off, regroup, and like tomorrow's going to be better. Like, you know what I mean? But it's, and with COVID, like I was saying, like when you don't have anybody around, like, and that happens, you can't go meet up with your friends and go to lunch or, you know, talk about it with like friends that you have like similarities with. Like I live in Vegas, and a lot of friends, like at the beginning, everything was closed. So I'd be like, God, Cam was slow. And my other friends like, yeah, it is. I'm like, let's meet up. And we're like, wait, where are we going? Never mind.
I have to like force myself to socialize by like texting people or like going to some sort of like outdoor support group where everybody's wearing their masks, something like that. Otherwise, I just like get so comfortable being alone that I just know once things reopen, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be like super overwhelming. So I'm trying to like anticipate that by like being a little bit more social now before things reopen. Yeah.
I honestly think that that's a luxury that Lexi and I have, because we literally work in like Jack and Jill style bedrooms next to each other. Like when I'm having a bad day, she's probably having a bad day. And when she's having a bad day, I'm probably having a bad day. And so we get to like vent to each other about it. And we've kind of decided at this point, like, if you get it, I get it. And I actually did get it. She actually didn't end up getting it. But that is a luxury that we have, is being able to still socialize and like vent to each other if we're having like a bad day or even a bad week. The election week was just, it was like everything was great. And then for us, at least, I feel like everyone was so focused that nobody was even wanting to watch porn at all.
I thought it was good. I actually did really good. I find that anytime there's political unrest, there's people that need a distraction. So
yeah, after the election, they all came back and they were like, please help me.
I was watching this YouTube video on this guy. He was like some professional poker player. And to create an analogy, he's like, it's a tough way to make an easy living. So you're going to have your shitty days. You're going to have your great days. You're going to have your, oh my God, is there anything wrong with me that I look today? Like, you're beat yourself up to seriously just be like, oh my God, you know, like a pot of gold, you know, kind of thing. So it's so structured. You have to be, otherwise you can easily fall off, like probably before you even know it. So I just keep telling myself that it's a tough way to make an easy living, right?
Yeah, and to bounce off of what Brielle was talking about, I think it's so important to set goals and like measurable metrics that are within your control. like setting a goal for yourself of like making a certain amount of money per day. It's like working at a restaurant. Like you can show up, but if people don't show up to your restaurant, people don't show up to your cam space, like you can't control that. So it's important to like it. I find it's a lot easier to just control, like, okay, I showed up, I put in my time, I put in this many hours, you know, I recorded some content, even if it was slow. Like if you focus on what's in your control, it's a lot easier to like, okay, like people didn't show up, but it'll balance out later on this week, or, you know, because it usually does. If you have a bad day, you'll have another day that's better. So
yeah, absolutely. Like if I have a bad day, I'll try to bring something positive out of it. Maybe even I talked to a customer today that didn't spend any money today, but I made the connection and he favorited me, and I'm going to make the money next time from him. And I put the hours in so they know I'm there every Monday night or whatever, you know, the day is. And I've at least tried to put the time in. And if I've made no money at all and I'm feeling bad that I put makeup on and my light looks good and everything looks good, I at least film some content. So I don't waste the face of makeup and don't waste my time completely and can sell it later.
That's what I did last night.
Yeah, don't waste that beat.
I was like, oh, hold on, honey. We're about to take some photos.
So let's talk about your guys' private lives at home, behind the scenes. So if you have someone that you are cohabitating with, or were cohabitating with maybe at this point, I don't know, how is that going for you during lockdown and just COVID?
That's non-existent for me, so I'm just gonna sit this one out. I've been single for like 3 or 4 years, so I don't think this is my alley. I just have my dog and that's it.
Right, I have my animals. I have a snake, a bearded dragon, a dog. I got my dog right before COVID, like a month before. So those are kind of like the only relationships I have. And then I talk to someone now, but he lives all the way in Atlanta, so it's like a traveling thing. But yeah, I don't think I would have made it if I had somebody, guy or girl. I would have been like, I'm sorry, you got to move out.
Can we just pause right there, Brie? Because we have to delve like a little bit. You said someone in Atlanta, so okay, did that happen like over all of this, or was this a pre-COVID relationship?
You know what? I met him pre-COVID at my friend's baby shower in Miami, like 3 or 4 years ago, and he just happened to find me on Instagram, so I'm guessing it was COVID. But and he's like, I've been looking for you, and so then he started flying out here. So, and I even make him get COVID. I'm like, get COVID testing, not COVID. I'm like, before you fly here, can you just go get a test? He's like, this is getting expensive. I'm like, yeah, you know. But I did go to a Halloween party with him, and he's already had COVID. And he's like, I know Rona's in this room. And then like shortly after I got it. So.
Wow.
Well, I can anyone here married or no? Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
Yeah. I've been in a relationship for about 8 years, married for about 5 of them. And my partner and my husband and I got into the industry together. So we started dating before sex industry and got into it together. And so we've been working from home together for about 7 years. And so I have many years experience of like working side by side with him, and like balancing that relationship between like, when are you my husband, when are you my business partner, when are you my boss? Yeah. You like, what helps for us is we have like weekly business meetings where we go over like what the focus is, what's important right now. Like there's always more on our to-do list than we can tackle. We're very ambitious. We have a lot of projects we want to do. So we have to sit down on a regular basis and like discuss like, okay, what's the priority this week? How are we spending our days? We both need flexibility with our mood, and, you know, I battle depression sometimes. So we have some flexibility built in there. Like, you know, if we plan to do something one day, but one of us isn't feeling it, we can, you know, work separately or work on something else together. But weekly meetings are very important, and just communication is everything. If one of us is grumpy, like in a bad mood, we've gotten really good at being able to communicate that to each other. Like, hey, I'm grumpy today. If I take it out on you, please don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just grumpy. So like communication is something that we ironed out early on, like how to disagree, how to avoid fighting, by just like talking through everything. So, you know.
Yeah, I've been
I'm
in a
pretty much the same as
relationship
Chrissy. She's
for
the same as me. Married, been together for a while. Married 10 years, together almost 20. But yeah, we started dating, married. We started this together. He's kind of like the one that puts his foot down sometimes because I do get lazy. And he's just like, you have to be on a schedule. Get on your schedule. But yeah, there's going to be times where, because we're always together, like all the time, I will just hang out with my dogs. I'm like, I don't want to see your face anymore. I need a break from you. But he's like, that's it. He's my best friend, husband, business partner, pretty much that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm also like, I'm not legally married, but I live with the father of my child, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I love it, but it was definitely an adjustment for me because I went from like a certain lifestyle of, like having roommates or living alone, and then going from that to like living with somebody. It was a new feeling, but it was also like overwhelming because I felt like there was just so many changes happening at once. So like, as I said, I wouldn't change it for anything, but yeah, as someone was saying communication, like that's really important because I learned that like the hard way. I think I got very comfortable, and I know that some people aren't as, like for him example, like they're not as open about sex and as I was. So, I kind of, yeah, I definitely like had learned some new things, but it was definitely an adjustment for sure. Because I went from like two extremes, like one extreme being alone to like having a family and like a home. So, yeah.
What about for our single ladies? Aubrey, you mentioned that you were single. So are you about that Tinder life?
No, I actually, I was talking about this earlier on cam. I've actually never had a one night stand in my life. They kind of scare me. And living in Florida, like you see all those Florida man memes, they're real. Like guys out here are shady and shitty, and
Sorry, I had bad experience.
yes,
Double
yes,
S,
crusty
shady and
is a good
shitty.
word. Crusty is a very good word. So I've actually been trying to, not trying, I'm not actively trying. I can't say I'm trying because I'm not on like dating apps or anything. But ideally, after doing what I do, I would actually like not mind dating a girl at this point. I just feel like I need something new and something like refreshing because Florida men they're their own breed. So yeah, no, I'm not about the Tinder life. It's very appealing, but one night stands are very scary for me.
I'm just so used to being single. I've been single since I was 24, so like 8 years. And then COVID kind of made it a little bit worse with the whole isolation thing. But I don't know. I think I like tried to date here and there, and then I lost motivation. And then I just moved back down to Southern California, and I was like, the community I moved to has like tons of hot single people, like walking their dogs. Everybody's alone walking their dog. Hot guy walking his dog. Hot girl in gym clothes walking her dog. And I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for this yet because I just moved here. But when I am ready, I'm gonna probably read books on how to date because I completely forgot, and then I'll take it from there. So I don't know. I don't even remember how to date. I just rely on porn for dick.
Yeah, same. Like
It's
so
hard.
many of the guys that I talk to every day, they're like, how have you gone this long? And I'm like, well, without you guys, I would probably have gone insane by now. But you guys actually keep me pretty grounded. But yeah, no, when I like actually actively start learning how to date again, I'm gonna need like one of those books for dummies because I just forget. And I worked at a strip club before doing this, so like my perspective of emotional connection is just gone. It's gone.
I always feel like that. I'm like, even now with me talking to someone, I'm like, you know, when I don't hear from him all day, or like I don't text or call all day. And my friends are like, how do you do that? Like, if you really like someone. And I'm like, I'm so used to like either just, you know, dating around, like that, like I forget, like, oh, I'm not clingy, you know, because I guess I don't know if it's just the work I do, or if I just am so used to just being alone. But I'm like, I'd rather just hang out with my animals. Like, I'll call him like
so
in 5
important
days.
to find someone that like texts at the same rate as you.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're dying, like, because he's like, I was calling you, you didn't answer. Like, I could have been dying. I'm like, call 911. Like, I'm busy. I'm like, okay, I don't need a boyfriend. Leave me alone. I'm busy watching Tiger King with my animals.
Oh my God, can we go back to the Tiger King portion of lockdown? That was
Yes!
great.
Oh
I was
my
God.
with all my White Claw and Tiger King. It was great. That was a good
Yes.
time.
Oh, the White Claw thing was crazy. How everybody was like poking the little holes in. Is that how you're supposed to drink them? Because like I drink them regular. Everybody's like, no, you're supposed to poke a hole and just chug them. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm late. So yeah, I've been in the house, COVID, didn't know.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
All right. We have some incoming questions from the chat. Let's see. Florita de Brazil asks, guys, what is your experience with all the new models on your work? Has it changed what you would do? So I guess just within the influx of new performers, I guess, that have come on board during COVID, have you had to make any adjustments, perhaps?
My hustle has not changed at all. Like, my hustle has not changed at all. I'm either gonna get on cam the way that I'm comfortable with and that I'm used to and that is most natural to me, or I'm not gonna get on cam. And that's probably a really good way to lose out on money, but I'd rather approach it that way than to get on cam and pretend to be something and someone that I'm not, and then at the end of the day not really make the kind of money that I want. So I was fake for 4 or 5 hours. I'd rather just not get on. I mean, like I said, I'm really introverted. I'm pretty to myself, and when I get on cam, I use that as my motivation to act the way that I do. And that's just how it's gonna have to be. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but the guys have spoiled me enough to have that opinion, to have that perspective. Like, they still pay my bills fairly well. So, I mean, they must like it enough to keep coming back. I'm not gonna change that.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody for everybody in life. And I know it's like a cliche, but like whether you're juggling, you know, lemons and hopping on one leg, or you're just sitting there like looking like Kim K or whatever and having a resting bitch face, somebody's going to want to give you some money. So it doesn't matter how many people come along, you know, there's enough money in the world for everybody, and there's somebody for everybody. So you know, I feel like for the new girls, or new models, I should say, like they shouldn't be intimidated. Obviously, you have to learn your method of things, you know, because I'm on plenty of cam sites, but I always come back to Streamate just because like I'm not, you know, I don't feel comfortable doing activities and games and doing a lot of stuff that other girls do on other sites that works for them. You know, I know girls that make thousands of dollars every month on other sites, and then they come to Streamate and they're like, oh my God, like I can't make $1, you know, but then me, I get on Streamate and I do good. So there's somebody for everybody and there's a niche for everybody. So for me, new models coming in did not stop my hustle. Like I'm going to get it either way.
Like, I felt the pressure to increase my hustle. I kind of touched on this earlier. Like, there's, you know, new girls coming in that are just really good at like the marketing and salesmanship of it. And, you know, I found that like I do have to work a little bit harder now, like making sure that I'm consistent and not just posting when I'm having a good day or feel like it. I guess I'm specifically talking more about like OnlyFans type sites and stuff as far as consistency goes. The camming for me hasn't changed that much. But like sites like OnlyFans and stuff, it's definitely much more of a hustle now. And I've reached out to other people who are better at this than I am for advice and for help as well. A lot of people have assistants now that help them post and help them sell stuff. I don't have anyone that's like doing DMs for me or anything like that, but you know, we've reached out to, my husband and I have reached out to like companies to help us like get our clips out to other stores that we're not on, and to help us like with scheduling our posts and make sure that that's consistent. Like redoing our website to make sure it's more user friendly and it has like a better sales funnel. So I've definitely been using the past year to like try and make things better for the consumer and like, I don't know, easier for easier for me to make those sales and not do it all myself. So
Yeah, I've hired an assistant for as far as like the content stuff, and I had a company in Vegas helping with running the accounts, but now I've been doing it myself. I need another content manager though, because it drives me nuts. It's like even sitting at home bored with COVID, you still are like, ah!
it's just become so much to do, and there's so many platforms, and like you can't do it all, you can't be everywhere. I'm like, you know, I'm sure most of us do all of it. You know, you you record the content, you edit it, you post it, you are in DMs with people, and it just becomes so much and like so hard to balance. And you know, it's easy to feel like you're behind on something. So reaching out for help on some of those things has helped me feel more on top of it.
I actually know a couple of management companies.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I need to talk to you then, Natasha.
Well, I know a couple of management companies if you guys want to reach out to me after. I know one in Vegas, but I know like one or two in Southern California. So you can just tweet at me and I'll let you know who they are or whatever.
I don't have Twitter, so do you have Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, we'll
So,
talk after this.
So we'll contact each other after. Going back to like the balancing of everything, or like how things change when like new girls show up, I feel like if you focus too much on the new girl, you actually kind of lose some sales because you lose motivation and you lose inspiration, and you have to be inspired if you're going to do sex work, I think, just because it's such a sensitive thing for some girls. But like I've been in porn since 2006, and you know, I got older because I started at 18, and around my 30s there would be like new girls who were 18 and they were coming in with the big natural boobs, and I was tempted to like be jealous of them, but then I was like, well, I already have my fan base. My fan base is already used to seeing me in their, you know, weekly porn Rolodex or whatever. So as long as I just stay good with my fans and like don't drop by getting all toxic with jealousy, then I should be fine. And that's pretty much what happened. So like they may beat me in the rankings one week or whatever, but it always stabilizes because you're still giving your fans what you want instead of like disappearing off the map.
Yeah, I agree with you, Natasha, like heavy on that. I realized that if I get on cam and I'm trying to outbest somebody else, I'm not even going to make my usual goals. Like I won't be able to do better than I normally would. I have someone else in mind. So pre-COVID, I had a habit of watching other cam girls. They're like my favorites. Aubrey, you're definitely one of them. So I would watch other cam girls and just get inspired to do different things. And I feel like that's healthy to see someone do something and you're like, you know what? I like how she did that. Or I like that kind of outfit. Or I like that vibe. And I definitely want to come across that way to other people. But if your motivation is other people trying to be better than them, and you feel like you're not making enough money, and now the other cam girls are your competition, when you start thinking that way, you're going to struggle to make every dollar that day. You're going to struggle to make every penny. And the guys, somehow they sense stuff like that. They sense the desperation, and they get a vibe for that. And it always bites you in the ass later.
Yeah, I really like your point about like, I would rather log on and be myself. And if not going to be myself, I'm not going to log on. I always try and like reiterate that to these guys because, you know, some people might tell me, hey, you talk too much. Hey, you are not my type, not my cup of tea. And I'm like, if you don't like me, I'm still going to be here.
Right.
Whether you're here or not, I'm still going to be here. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to twerk my ass one day. I might not twerk my ass the next day. I might listen to rock and roll one day and rap music next day. And my vibe is always going to change because I'm just going to do what I like. And I'm not going to try and outdo someone else. If anything, if they're doing a great job, I'm going to learn from them. Just like you were saying, I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to take from that a little bit, and I'm going to try and improve myself instead of competing. I like to learn from other people that are doing it really well.
Exactly. If I so
cool.
happen to go into a girl's room and I see she's making, like I walk in at the perfect moment and she's making bank that day. If my reaction is, dang, I wish I was making that, I don't need to log on that day, because my whole energy should be to celebrate her wins. And her money is never, her making money is never going to stop me from making money.
Mm-hmm.
It was always going to be her money. It was never going to be mine. It was never going to be for me. The customers that like her were supposed to like her. You know, it's not my goal or my job to take her customers from her or to try to copy her or to emulate her. That hater shit is so tired. Like, if I feel some sort of jealousy because I'm having a bad day, then me and my bad day needs to get offline. So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
I haven't watched other people's cams in like so long. I
Yeah,
did that at the beginning to help like give me an idea of what people were doing.
Yeah.
And like how to do it right. But like I don't watch anybody's cams anymore at all. Because I just focus on my customers, my fans. And honestly, it's like a, staple sales line that it's a lot easier to keep a customer than to get a new one. So focus on the people that are already in your room, that are already spending money on you, make sure that they're happy and they'll keep coming back. It's so much easier to take a fan that's like paying $5 a month for, a fan site and like upsell them on something else than it is to try and get new eyes on you. So important to just like focus on the people that are already there and already loving you, just keeping them happy.
I used to watch cams in the beginning too, and I think that drew out a lot of my insecurities, and I would hate myself. Like, why did you do that to myself? Like, it just makes it worse. But you do learn, but at the end of the day, the more you've been doing this, you're like, okay, you're learning, but you have to stop looking at other people's cam, because it's just kind of like you're holding on to that one thing. What does she have that she's getting all these customers? And then it just kind of like mind fucks you the whole time. Okay, and then you change up a little bit, and the next thing you know, okay, like your mind just goes all over the place. So yeah, I haven't looked at cams in forever either, because it's so negative.
Yeah, it can be a total mind fuck. You just have to like focus on you. I've looked at girls' cams before, but I never get the like, in my mind, I never get like, oh my God, like I can't believe she made this or did that. Cause I've always been like that team player, like even from growing up, like on a gymnastics team. So I'm always like happy, like, girl, if I didn't get it, I'm glad somebody got it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my mentality. Like, don't let them leave the room without getting all the money. Somebody get it. Like, so I'm always happy to like see that. But a lot of the times when I used to watch girls' rooms, it would be to see like, to learn from them, what I could do better. Like, oh, they're doing spin the wheel, or they're doing this. Maybe I should try that. To like learn the game. Like, you have to study, as a student before you can become, the master of it.
We got another question from our chat from Ari Black. They say, has anyone noticed that people talk down on them for being a sex worker before COVID, but now that COVID happened, everyone has an OnlyFans? So I was kind of thinking about that myself. Like, do you think that the stigma of being a sex worker, is that stigma going down now that it's becoming more mainstream, in part to maybe some platforms that have had mainstream shine like OnlyFans? What are your opinions on that?
I thought it was worse.
It's crazy that you said that, because yesterday I was on Clubhouse with the CEO of Tinder, and like a bunch of people who were just in the corporate business world, and they were like, well, we have this panel and we're on stage, but like we're talking about stuff that we're not necessarily in, maybe we should invite sex workers on the stage. And I feel like, no matter what happens, it's just like racism. It's always going to be something to it, controversy to what we do. Always. Like, there's always going to be a negative about it because people don't understand it. You know what I mean? And people, you know, sometimes they show backlash at things that they don't understand and they're not educated on. So I feel like even with COVID, no matter how many celebrities make OnlyFans, no matter how many models make an OnlyFans, there's still going to be that percentage of people that are like, oh my God, you have OnlyFans? Like, or you do webcam, or, oh my gosh, like your life must have been bad, or your childhood, or what trauma did you go to bring you to this? And it's like, actually none. Like I wanted to do it. Like not every sex worker has had like a bad childhood or bad experiences to make them go be a sex worker. Like, and that, you know, or that stigma is always going to be around though. You know, there's so many people I've met that are like, oh, you do webcam. Oh, you have OnlyFans. Oh, you do this and that. Like, how do your parents? I'm like, went back to college right now. I'm getting my master's. Like my parents are successful with degrees. Like I chose to do this. I didn't have anything bad happen to me, you know, and, you know, unfortunately for people that have had, but like I haven't. So I chose to do this. I chose to drop out of college from being a veterinarian and go be a stripper. Like were my parents happy? No, but that's what I wanted to do and they supported it. Like, but there's always that stigma of people that are just going to, you know, fucking think that you're just crazy and like your life is just fucked up and that's why you do it.
Yeah, I actually, my best friend in high school, we were literally best friends throughout middle school and high school. And the week after I graduated high school, I wanted to go work at a strip club. I really just wanted to go be a cocktail waitress and be in that environment, something new. And it's so crazy because she went from being my absolute best friend and biggest fan to like just completely shitting on me and telling like me, oh, you're a bad person, you're a slut, you're a whore, you're this, you're that. And like a year into it, I was like, fuck you, this is amazing. Like I loved being in the adult industry. And then when I started camming and, you know, whatnot, it was always like all the girls that I worked with at the clubs were like, you're not going to make any money. You'll be right back in here in a month. And then after COVID, they're all DMing me on Instagram going, hey girl, so are you doing OnlyFans still? And I'm like,
yep. Yeah,
no.
girl, I am. Why?
Yeah, like, no, absolutely not. You shit on me.
I have so many friends that were escorts in Vegas and like at the brothels and certain things that literally when I would start doing webcam at the brothel and when it was
amazing.
slow and yeah, I had bad internet connection because it was way out in Pahrump, but I started doing webcam and at first, like, obviously I didn't know the game and I wasn't making really good money at it. So I'm like, oh, there's no money in this. And this was years ago. And I was an escort. And when I started telling girls, like, you know, I'm going back to school, I'm going to get on webcam. Like, I don't want to deal with traveling and all this stuff anymore and clients in person. They thought I was absolutely insane. Like, girl, you're not going to make any money doing that. Like, it's not, da, 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 da. COVID happens. Now all those girls, like literally one just hit me up the other day. Can you post me? I just made an OnlyFans. Oh, I made an OnlyFans. Oh, how do you do webcam? And it's like, you know, I'm never negative. I just kind of like, I'm like,
Yeah, it's the eye roll. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh, now you want to do it. I thought
funny.
there was no money in it. Like, but they see, like, I think in their mind, they thought like, oh, she's going to try to go do webcam or online work. It's not going to work. And she's going to be right back out here in the streets, like at the brothel, in the casinos, escort services. And it wasn't like that. They haven't seen me in like 3 years. So now they're like, okay, something must be working. I haven't seen this bitch outside in a long time. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, just
Good
like
for
what
you.
Aubrey said too, I had a lot of my stripper friends who would talk shit for many years at the club about, you know, my online work and make fun of me. And then COVID hit and everyone was calling me up and going, I need to start an OnlyFans, I need to do night flirt, I need to do sex panther, I need to do camming, I need to do this, I need to do that. And I like spent a lot of time and energy trying to help people because I felt really bad. Like everyone was I was in a better position than them because I already had this whole setup and I already had the knowledge. So I was really trying to like help people go online and earn money and stay safe. But a couple months in, I actually started my own webcam studio on Streamate because there's no reason for me to be doing all that work and helping all those people and giving all my energy with getting nothing in return from the same people that were maybe talking shit a few months ago. So now it's like their success is also my success. So I'm more invested in helping them make money.
Good for you. That's awesome.
I think COVID's done a lot to break down that stigma within the industry of that separation between like the pro porn people and the cam girls and the clip artists and like, you know, just like the fan club people. like now everybody's dabbling in a little bit of everything. And I love that it's like just breaking down some of those walls and blurring the lines between all the content creators. But as far as like public perception goes, I feel like OnlyFans popularity has been similar to like what 50 Shades of Grey did for the public community. It started the conversation. So it's like more widely known and like accepted that like people have an OnlyFans and people do sex work, but it's not giving everyone all the information. A lot of people are like, oh, so you just put your nudes up online and you make money and it's super easy and that's all it is. It's like not really a job. So a lot of people have like the wrong idea about sex work or this narrow view of it. Similar to like how 50 Shades of Grey, everyone's like, oh, so that's what being kinky and that's what BDSM is like. It's like, no, that's not all of it. That's not all the information. Like, and some people took that as like an opening for a conversation. And I think OnlyFans is kind of doing that the same way as like some people are taking that as an opening to learn more about sex work. And some people are just keeping that narrow view of, oh, you're just an OnlyFans hoe.
I feel like the stigma is like, it's a little better, but I feel like it'll always be there. There's also like girls who like, they kind of like, they're like, oh, well, I don't, for example, like a full service sex worker versus like a stripper. Like, you know, there's stigma sometimes within the industry. And I hear this a lot where they go, I'm going to make an OnlyFans, but like, I'm not going to like show anything. And then somehow that makes it okay because it's not sex work. And if you show, you know, your pussy, then you're a bad person. It's like, it's a little hypocritical in my opinion. Like, I hope it gets better. But I feel like I even girls, like I had a roommate who like kicked me out and said like, you know, she called me a prostitute and I was dirty and I was disgusting. But then I find out she's made an OnlyFans and like, there's no, like, I would always support anybody who wants to get into this line of work, but it's just a little bit hypocritical to just be like, oh, this is okay because I only do a little bit. But if you do this kind of sex work, right, then you're dirty and it's wrong and you should be ashamed of yourself. When really you shouldn't be ashamed of any of it. It's like a job, like anything else. So
I really think it's going to change in the future, like not like next year or whatever, but like the next generation or maybe the following one. I think girls are opening up to like the idea of being comfortable with their bodies, and they're not listening to men as much to like find a sense of self-respect. And I think that's really going to make them understand the difference between like who they are versus who this slut and whore, these words are supposed to be identifying or defining. And I think I just missed the cusp. So I still had a lot of that like verbiage growing up. And it's taken me a long time to like undo it and remember that I'm totally pro porn and pro sex work, and all that negativity is from my family and the Christian upbringing and all that crap. But I think OnlyFans, even though it's kind of fucking us right now, I think like other regular mainstream people will be like, oh, okay, OnlyFans is this thing that some people do. It's like a sex work thing or whatever, and they won't even bat up an eyelash to it. And then later on down the road, it'll become like more and more acceptable. Like that's at least my hope. And I even hope that we have like a role to play in that. And like when the first celebrity gets slut shamed, because it's gonna fucking happen, like hardcore slut shamed, I hope that porn stars kind of rise up and even support her. That way, like, we can show who we really are, which is not just dumb sluts. Like, I'm dumb sometimes, and I'm always slutty.
Right. I play dumb for money.
You won't understand me if I tell you how smart I am, but there are moments where I get to shine my other qualities.
I don't need to play dumb.
Well, the stigma of the whole sex worker thing, I think it's like a joke. I have such a bigger sense of humor about it. Like, I'm kind of like a dude, I just don't care. And I guess it's part of having thick skin, because you guys know. But yeah, you guys watch these Netflix shows. You notice they're always add like a character who's a webcam model. I'm like, oh shit, oh, this show has that webcam model. So it's like, you know, slowly coming out of adding these little characters and shows. And they really do get comical about it. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, tits, pussy, ass. It's everyone has it. You've seen it. You're gonna talk shit about me. And I don't know, that's just where my thick skin comes in, and I'm just like, fuck off, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really bother me. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm making my money at home. All I need to do is get up out of bed, put some makeup on, and I'm right here. Your ass has to get up, brush your teeth, get in the car, freeze your ass off. Okay, you're gonna complain, right? So I don't know. I just always have had like a really good sense of humor about it. Otherwise, you're just gonna get pissed off.
Yeah. I feel like it is really funny if you think about it. Like if you think like sometimes about who these people who are stigmatizing us are, if you think about who they think we are versus who we actually are, I look at it sometimes and I just have to laugh. I'm like,
you have to laugh, yeah.
That you think I would be that person because I'm so not that person.
Aww.
It's funny. I almost feel bad for them. Like I went through a long period where I was very angry about the stigma. And then I think I just was like, I can't be fucking angry every day. I got to get over this. And I just kind of like little by little, the only solution other than being angry is just to laugh at them and like have compassion because they're intimidated. You don't want to like go around hurting a bunch of scared people, right? They're just fucking scared.
That's how I feel when I like meet people or people hit me up on Instagram and then they like meet me in real life and they're like, oh, like you're always with all these girls. Like, I'm like, well, some of them I actually know. Some of them it's just like a cross promo. I don't even never met them in my life. Like we just talk on social media, but then people meet me in person and expect me to be like super sexual or, you know, how my Instagram is or how OnlyFans or webcam is. And I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, oh, I'm reading this book. I went to the library or I'm on my Kindle. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I got my bearded dragon sitting on my shoulder and I'm like watching The Notebook like over and over. And they're like, oh, I thought you'd be like hanging from the ceiling with like a dildo. Like, you know, they just have like this like crazy, like, oh, I thought you'd be meeting up with guys every night because you're, you know, and it's like the complete opposite. And I'm like, no.
Horny all the time.
Yeah, horny all the time. Just always sexual. And like,
I wake up with my makeup and hair done.
Yeah, I wake up like, and me, I'm in, you know how it is, ladies. Like I'm in sweats half the time, like no hair, like, well, I have hair, but you know, no makeup, all this stuff. And like, literally, like I meet people and they're just like, oh damn, I thought you were gonna pop up in lingerie. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I actually had like a couple guys come up to me in a pizza place. I was picking up a pizza after camming, and I, you know, dress a certain way on cam, and in real life I'm like t-shirt, flannel, jeans, combat boots, like not very girly in real life. And they were like, are you sure you're Aubrey? And I was like, I'm sure. You're just not catching me in my element right now. No makeup on, hair's up in a bun. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to recognize me.
I remember like the first events I went to, like Exotica and AVN, and like the first years, like, okay, I have to have like the best outfit and like have my hair and makeup ready to go for the after parties. And I remember seeing like all the big name porn stars rolling up in like Ugg boots and sweatpants and like a flannel shirt and hoodies and like their workout gear. And they just like were like, oh no, this is comfortable time. Like there's no fans here. Like I can just like wear a onesie and be comfortable. It was nice to see like all these people that like normally look so polished just be so chill and not.
Be their normal side.
Yeah.
We have a question from Mahanix in the chat. They ask, she does not have a webcam, but is there a way to launch her career from a phone? So ladies, do you have any input on that? And what's maybe your advice on how to get started with that?
Nightmare, maybe? Like sex? Like she doesn't have a webcam. Sorry, I don't know if you hear that. But it's like she doesn't have, you don't have like a webcam, but you have a phone? Because I know you could stream from your phone. Or does she mean like she only wants to like do like phone sex?
That was not clear. So let's just assume like maybe webcam with desktop. Like what are some of the ways that she can actually utilize her phone to generate income?
Use her phone to generate income.
True.
As far as like streaming on webcam, sorry, I didn't hear the whole question. Well, I use my phone for clips. I use it for photos. If you don't have a super expensive camera or, you know, you can't hire a photographer, there's lots of different apps you can look up that you could download to your phone that are free or some at a cost. And you can start just doing the editing and learn different things yourself. and utilize that for like your camming profiles, your camming videos that you post for, you know, content to sell, and on your content sites. You don't have to have, when I first started, I had like a tiny ring light and my phone. Now I have like ring lights, I have like Canon cameras and all types of stuff, but obviously I've progressed with my craft, you know. I will say it takes money to make money. So when you invest in yourself, don't be afraid that you're not going to see that money again. Be confident that, you know what, if I'm spending this money, I'm going to make it back. Whether you make it back in a day, a week, or a year from now, you know, keep that on your notes. It's a write-off, and like literally just know, like, be confident, you know, I'm going to hustle hard and I'm going to make this back. This purchase is worth it. But also make sure that you're not just wasting your money and getting things that you're not going to utilize. A phone when you first start out is fine. You know what I mean? Like, you can pretty much use that to maneuver whatever you need.
Yeah, you can do everything on your phone nowadays. You can stream on Streamate using your phone. You can record content on your phone. If you have a good enough phone, you can record in HD or 4K. There's top, like, from all the panels and stuff that I've been to and like different online events, like even the top names are using their phones to record some clips. And they say that some of those are like their best sellers. So you don't need all the fancy equipment to get started. You can do just about everything from your phone nowadays. And you can even use that as like motivation for your fans to help tip you to get equipment. Like, I'm just on my phone, like, help me get better stuff, and use that for goals or for deals or selling your phone content bundles to help you get the equipment that you want.
Also, make a wish list. I went and got a P.O. box, and I put just like my nickname, Bree, on it. And I literally made a wish list and attached it to like my websites and my social media or whatever. And I've had Apple computers, Canon cameras, all that I didn't buy myself. They bought for me. So utilize that wish list, because when you think that they're not going to spend more money, or they're not going to find you on social media or whatever, they will. And they will, you know, there's those guys who want to be generous. So make sure you utilize that. And I know, you know, Amazon has like the third party thing. Get a PO box. That's the best. That's what I did. I used ipostal.com, and I pay like a monthly fee, and it goes to like a location that I picked, and I didn't make it close to my home actually, and everything goes there.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that?
ipostal.com is what I signed up through.
Thank you.
And it's like a digital, it's supposed to be for you to get like your digital mail, but your packages can go there too. And like when you pick up a package, they charge you like $1 or $2. And I just use that method instead of just going to the regular post office, registering like my real name and all that stuff. So
thank you.
I actually had a glitch one day and I was freaking out, and my laptop, for some reason, SM Connect was just not working, and I connect via Ethernet, so everything's hardwired. So I went to my phone mobile and I did the mobile SM Connect thing, and I viewed myself on my iPad. I was like 4 devices up, like, this stupid laptop doesn't work. So I'm like using my other devices, and I have my phone and I'm streaming on it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Wi-Fi. It's the quality is just as good versus the hardwire. So the SM Connect does wonders. Like, Streamate did great however they did it. So if you just have a phone with a decent Wi-Fi, you'll be fine, and decent money, I guess, you know. But yeah, that one time I was like, oh my God, it's gonna look like pixely. But if you're on your phone, it's probably just as good with my experience. So.
And even if it is lower quality, there's some people who love that because it feels more amateur, more authentic, more real. And so that can even play in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so to round off our chat today, I have one last question for you guys, and that's about your takeaway from all of this. I like to think that, you know, everything, there's a lesson in everything. So from after everything that has happened over the past year, what would you say your biggest takeaway has been? Starting with you, Aubrey, and then we'll just go around the table.
My takeaway, like from 2020 as a whole, is that when you're in an industry like this, where you're just self-employed, where you don't know what next week's paycheck is going to look like, you really have to like have a safety net. You have to be prepared for the absolute worst as far as like a dip in income, or like, for example, like dancers that couldn't go work at strip clubs that had to completely change their occupation in the adult industry. It really taught me to just be more financially prepared, because I did end up getting COVID in December and I couldn't come here and cam for, 10 weeks or 10 days, 2 weeks, because, Lexi's here and whatnot. So I couldn't cam. So my only things were ManyVids and OnlyFans, and relying on that to supply my income. My biggest takeaway is to not just blow all your money on things. Not that I ever did that, but it just really reassured me to not do that. I'd like to think that I'm pretty responsible, but it just taught me to like bury my money in the mattress in case you ever need it.
Rina?
Similar, obviously. I feel like you can't take anything for granted anymore. Like anything, you gotta be, as Aubrey was saying, like you just gotta be prepared for anything, like any circumstance to change. Also, like maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just like, focus on like one platform. Maybe branch out and do other things like OnlyFans and selling clips. Like for me, I had a tendency to just kind of like focus on one thing, and if that was kind of, I was like a little slow on it, then I would get really down and say like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, I suck, when really like a lot of the other girls are struggling too. Like it's not just, I always thought it was like a me problem, and then listening to you guys, like, it's not. It's like everyone has different like obstacles they have to overcome. So I just think, yeah, like you have to really be on top of everything and kind of just be prepared for things to change, and like think about how you want to like adapt to it. Yeah.
My biggest takeaway, honestly, is, well, it's not really a takeaway. It's just like a moment of reflection. I think I said earlier that I started in 2019, but did the mental math wrong. It was 2018. And so when I started, there was no pandemic in anyone's mind, and I wasn't hard up for cash or anything like that. It was something that I wanted to do. So it's kind of interesting because now people, like y'all mentioned earlier, they're trying to get advice from you and tips and tricks, and what webcam do I buy, and what kind of dildo should I get, and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of feel like that person that, like that crazy guy that built the doomsday bunker, and now everyone's trying to get in. Like, I think my biggest takeaway from it all is that do whatever the hell it is that you want to do, regardless if other people approve of it, if your family and friends like it, if your dog wants to be a cam girl. Like, it doesn't matter what else is going on or what anyone else's opinion of it is. I think that doing what you would like to do with your own body is the best decision that you can make, especially now when being a cam girl has saved me financially, because what else would I do with the way that people have been laying folks off and stuff like that. So I think it's just kind of like a reflective moment where you just pat yourself on the back. Like, I made the right decision. I did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And it saved me in a moment where we would not have known we would need to be saved like this.
All right, I can go next. Say, my biggest takeaway from this past year is that there's like no one right way to do things. Everybody has their own recipe for success, and there's definitely good information and tips that you can get from other people that are doing well, but the same things won't work the same way for everybody. For some people, they do much better doing a certain style of camming than others. For some people, clips are a lot better, or a certain site is a lot better than others. There's no one recipe that you have to follow to make it work. It's very easy to doubt yourself and wondering if you're doing the right things and like even top names in this industry are like asking other people what they're doing. Like, am I doing this right? What are you doing? What's working for you? So getting information from panels like this is really good. But you also have to pay attention to like what's working for you and analyze your own numbers. Like analyze, you know, if there's a certain time of day that works really well for you camming, if having a consistent schedule is really good for you, or if it's better for you to cam when you're like feeling in a good mood. For me, that's what works for me. Like I don't have a consistent cam schedule, and I know that some fans wish I did, but I do much better camming when I'm in the mood and I feel like it. And that's just what works for me. So to like everybody watching, like you really have to just like try out different things, analyze how it's working for you, and then follow those paths.
I think also, as far as like trying different sites, if you're not like exclusively contract to any site, I say, you know, join them all and try them, whether it's content, webcam, because when one is slow, the other one might be really good, you know, and you never know, like Christy was saying, you know, you can get tips and advice and see other people, but it's always going to be up to you to like tweak everything that you do the way you need to make it work for you. Cause we're not, you know, we all do the same job, but we're not all alike. So what works for me may not work for other girls on the panel. So I definitely say, you know, it's true. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. If you feel like you've gotten on Streamate and it's really slow, take a breather, try other sites, come back. You know, like I said, I'm on so many sites, but I always come back to Streamate. Obviously, I make the most money here, but you know, never limit yourself. Try everything at least once. I mean, it can't hurt you to try, whether it's OnlyFans, Loyal Fans, whatever content site that you're on. You know, go across all social media sites and advertise. You know, never limit yourself because you never know which eyes are watching you and who you're gonna pull in. So. And when
as long as you give it like
diehard,
an honest try, don't like try things for like one day.
yeah, don't try it for one day.
doesn't
Like, don't make an account and like get on another campsite and be like, oh my God, it was terrible. And you were there for like 2 hours. Try it out. Don't, you know, if you make OnlyFans, some people, I know some girls who don't do good on OnlyFans, but do good on like Fan Centro or Loyal Fans or Sex Panther. Like for me, I had a Sex Panther for 3 years and barely made money on it. And now this year, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, is this the right person? Like, do they know who they're talking to? Like, so it's like, had I had, you know, deleted my account and just given up, you know, I would have never made that money. So never give up, just keep trying and don't get discouraged. We all have bad days. Even the top money makers have, you know, bad days. Everybody has a bad day. Don't let seeing things on social media or seeing girls on cam with a smile make you think like, oh my God, their life's perfect. They're always making money, because that's not true. Like, you don't always make money every day, you know, and just because, you know, people have a smile on their face or they're being positive, you don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. So just stay motivated and don't give up and try everything. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, for sure.
My golden rule has always been, and I say this to myself like every day I have to because of motivation, is you are your own worst enemy. You have to constantly keep motivating yourself, stay consistent, whatever your schedule is and what it takes. That's such a big obstacle for me every single day, because you're like a small business, like how you see commercials, you're a small business, if you're struggling, whatever. Like I just find myself always adapting, evolving, whatever it takes. Every day is a new day, literally one day at a time is how I view it. And I can't look at anyone else's stuff and be like, okay, criticizing myself, analyzing. You just got to motivate yourself. And with these new models coming in, that usually helps. That motivates me even more. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's just me being a competitive person naturally with my brain. I'm like constantly like, come on, you can do this, like yelling at myself, you can do far, or you could do this, do that. So yeah, you are your own worst enemy. Literally, you can go a little or you can go a lot. And I think that with the whole COVID thing, I think it definitely has, I don't know, made me even more, I guess, looking forward to it, I guess, with as far as making content and interacting, especially interacting, because a lot of the customers, they're like itching for that. So
that leave me? My takeaway from 2020. I mean, I think I always, my whole career, always told people to diversify. So that hasn't changed. But what changed for me, I think, is focusing my energy and paying more attention to what things are making me money and focusing on those instead of trying to do everything and smother it across the board and be good at everything, to take really good notes and to look back on my own trends and see when I was making money, what I was doing, what I was wearing, how I was marketing, where I was marketing, and figure all that stuff out so that I can consistently go back and make the good money instead of like bouncing around too much. Because for me, that gives me a ton of anxiety. So instead of like spreading it too much, I just try to find the things that I'm good at, I like, that I actually enjoy doing, and that are making me the most money.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of different platforms, but I definitely have like my top focus of like, these are the main ones that I push. These are the, the places where like my content goes first, and then everything else trickles down from there. So like, I try to have a presence everywhere, but you can't make everything priority one either.
Yeah, I feel like last year just kind of taught me to not diversify as much as possible, but to find like a few things that you really like doing and that you're really good at where you sell. For me, that was camming, OnlyFans, and later in the year shoots when things opened back up. But the first part of the year I couldn't cam at all because we had lost my dad like on March 19th when the lockdown hit in NorCal. And I just couldn't handle the like face-to-face interaction in those months. So instead I just focused on my OnlyFans, and I just was so grateful for my OnlyFans for keeping me afloat all those months. And I just took nonstop pictures. And then occasionally I would like go on webcam and like try, and I was like, nope, not doing it still. But I could still always find a way of moving forward by like maybe researching ways to redecorate my cam room, or researching outfits, or maybe costumes, kind of themes I want to do. So there's kind of always something you can do to be moving forward, even if that only thing you can do to move forward is like chill and take a break, because that's super important too, just for like your system to like process and digest everything. I just think it's really important to just always like believe in yourself and know that if you're working, it's going to pay off in fruition. Like it's just going to work out for you. You just have to, don't try to be anybody else, because those people are already taken. Be yourself, be your charming self, be your weird self. You can be whoever you are, just as long as you are who you are. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I learned a lot last year. Just be true to you and have fun, or else you'll want to quit.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was just nice to see everyone too. But I really appreciate you all just coming together and taking an hour and a half out of your day to come and do this for the community. If you don't mind, before you go, can you please drop your Instagram and your Twitter in the chat so that people can follow you? Yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week and the weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, you as well.
Bye, everybody.
A good weekend too.
Thanks everyone for coming too in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Questions.
I know,
I saw
followed all
somebody
you
say
guys
that they
on
love me, so
Instagram.
thank you.
Everybody, I followed everybody.
Oh, yeah, I followed them too. All right.
My DMs are open, so if anyone has questions or needs advice on anything, feel free to message me.
Same, you guys, everybody that's listening.
Bye, ladies. Have a good one.
All right, take care,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.